Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Hodges, and I am out going for a walk. I have not been good about making a bunch of videos, so I'm all up on it. And part of the reason why I haven't been making a bunch of videos is I haven't been walking. That's kind of like my time to myself to think about life, say my prayers, and get some vitamin D, but not too much. And also make some videos. So here we go. So in honor of this, it seems like as I'm going for this walk, there's a little bit of a change in the air. It feels like football weather. So it kind of feels like the beginning of fall. It's nice and cool. It's not 1,000 degrees, even though I do think it might get up into the 90s today. Right now, it is incredibly comfortable outside going for this walk. So I think today's topic is we're going to talk about getting started or doing a reboot. I can't tell you how many of my patients come in to see me. Maybe they had surgery several years ago. They've gained a couple of pounds. Maybe they're concerned they're about a year out from surgery. They haven't gained any weight, but they're like, ooh, am I kind of falling behind? Things have really plateaued out. Or maybe you haven't even had surgery and you're like, my summer body is waning. I never had a summer body. How do I get started? What do I need to do? And I think the key to this, and nobody wants to hear this, including myself, is going to be consistency. I'm really sorry. It's not a 4-letter word, but it's kind of like a 4-letter word because nobody likes it. But I will tell you, if you can do the things you need to do 80% of the time, and then the other 20% you live your life reasonably, you're going to do okay. It might take you a little bit longer, but the key to any program is going to be consistency. That's number one. Number two, Rome was not built in a day. My daughter doesn't really know what that means, so every time I use that phrase, I try to explain it to her. But your beautiful temple was not built in a day. So if you've been struggling with your weight all your life, please know that you're not going to lose your weight overnight. Despite what any TikToker says, despite what the makers of Zupbound and Wegovy say, despite what your cousin's best friend who tried this new improved diet, despite what they say, you are not going to lose 20 pounds in a week. That's not going to happen. You're not going to probably see absolute immediate results, and that can be, good morning, and that can be a little discouraging. And so the second thing I want you to know is that this is not going to happen overnight, and that's okay. But I promise you, ooh, I gotta cross the road. I promise you that if you stick with it, you will see the results. I had gained about 40, 50 pounds after I had done IVF and then had Margie. And it literally took me a good 18 months at least to lose that weight. And now I'm in my maintenance phase, and I go through periods where I'm able to lose a little bit more, and then I plateau out, and then I kind of fall back into bad routines, bad habits, and then I have to like kick it into high gear. So the struggle is real. I want you to know that you have to look at your weight as an ongoing process. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon, but you have to start somewhere. So you need to be consistent. Number one, you need to know that you're not going to see results overnight. And number three, I want you to give yourself small but realistic goals. I will tell you, there is nothing that I love more than a checklist, and I love to check stuff off. However, I find that sometimes people will spend more time setting up their agendas, setting up their planner, trying to get a plan of attack, but then when it comes to implementing said plan, that kind of falls by the wayside, because it almost seems like it's a little bit more fun to make the plan than to actually do the work to execute the plan. And it sucks because, you know, like the work's hard. I mean, it does mean that you have to get up and go for that walk. Or it does mean that you can no longer get all the treats that you want. It does mean that you're going to have to make changes. And that's where the rubber meets the road. But you have to, you got to start somewhere, you know? So if you have never exercised at all in your life, the idea that you're just going to go out and start walking 2 to 3 miles or even 1 mile, but let's be honest, if you've never really walked and you have a BMI over 40, 45, you have bad hips, you have bad knees, guess what? You might only be able to walk a block. That's okay. If you've never done that before, now's the time to start, you know? Good morning. So you just have to start somewhere, you know? It might be that instead of you going for a walk, because if you have bad lower extremities, you physically may not be able to. But we need to do some kind of physical movement. So everybody shops on Amazon. And if you don't have Amazon, you can go to Walmart or wherever. Get some elastic bands. And I'm going to get like a little... I'll link some videos, and I'll make a video with Margie for a little rubber band exercise routine. There was a study that came out that looked at what we need to do to raise our heart rate, and they looked at aerobic activity, and was it more beneficial to do a 50-minute aerobic exercise or multiple shorter interval exercises? Are you going to get the same outcome? And what the results of the study showed was that you needed to do a minimum of 10 minutes of getting your heart rate up. And remember, if you have not exercised, it is not going to take a lot to get your heart rate up. All right. And when we say getting your heart rate up, I just mean getting your heart rate up to like 105, 110. Slow and steady won the race. Like, you do not have to have your heart rate in the 150s to get a good outcome. And in fact, that might actually put you into anaerobic metabolism, and that's not where you want to be. And so I recommend that you aim for a heart rate around 105, 110. That's where, because, ooh, look at that sun glaze. That's where my heart rate needs to be kind of in that fat burning mode. And so what that study show is you just need to do a minimum of 10-minute intervals, and doing 5 10-minute intervals, so that's a total of 50 minutes, that's the same as you doing one 50-minute interval. So even if all you have is 10 minutes, do it. You could even be at work and on your lunch hour, do your 10-minute exercise. In the morning, maybe all you have is 20 minutes. Okay, go do 20 minutes. And if you've never exercised before, and let's be honest, we know that some of us haven't for whatever reason. It doesn't matter if you work nights, it doesn't matter if you have hurt leg, whatever. There's going to be a reason. Whatever that is, if you haven't done anything, you got to start somewhere. I challenge you, start off with 10 minutes. Everybody has 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes that you can dedicate to getting your heart rate up to about 105, 110. That just might be you sitting in a chair and using the elastic bands and doing a couple of different arm exercises. You might not even need an elastic band. If you are very deconditioned, it might even just be using your own body weight, doing different arm exercises. And I say this because I love to go to Zumba, and because I don't have a lot of cardiovascular endurance. I'm fine with that. I know my limitations. But when I go to Zumba, I might initially start off with doing the arms and the legs. Oh my God, definitely within 10 minutes of that class, there are no more arms. And I'm like barely kicking because I am just like out of shape. I just don't have a lot of cardiovascular reserve. So but you still got to start somewhere. I hate that. No. You're fine. So commit to giving yourself, if you've never exercised, 10 minutes. Your ultimate goal for exercise is going to be about 350 minutes a week. But again, if you've never exercised, got to start somewhere. Start off with one 10-minute interval. And if you don't have any time to work out, aim for 10 to win. Okay. So, and then, 2 more items. I want you to commit to aiming to drinking at least 64 ounces of water a day. If you don't consistently drink water, and I will be honest, I do not either, you got to start somewhere. Start off with 24 ounces or 20 ounces. You got to start, okay? And then lastly, I would say start to exclude one bad habit a week. So if you typically drink multiple full sugar sodas a day, you need to decrease that to 1 a day. If you are a man and it is football season and you are used to drinking a bunch of beer on the weekend, you might be really, really good during the week. And let's say you're on a fitness program, but now it is college football. Like my husband on a Saturday, it's NFL on Sunday or Monday. If you really want to see results, you cannot have 3, 4, 5 beers. I mean, you can, but you just need to know that all the good work that you did that week is going to be chewed up, and it's like you're basically working out on the week so that you can drink your beer on the weekend. And I promise you it's not worth it. So you can have one, okay? And nobody wants to hear that, but I just gotta feed you some knowledge and speak the truth. If you are on a weight loss journey, you need to know that there are some things that you're gonna have to give up. Or if you want, you can have 2 Michelob Ultra or the Ultra Light. It's the beer that's only 80 calories. You can't have more than 200 calories in beer on any given day, because I've had patients that will come in and they end up drinking a lot of their calories, and those are the calories that people just don't think about. So if you talk about being on a low calorie diet, people are thinking of what are they having for their meal. They don't always even want to include the calories from a protein supplement, and they never include the calories they get from drinking. So if you're drinking multiple Starbucks a day, there's nothing wrong with Starbucks. If you're drinking a bunch of fruit juice every day, if you're drinking full sugar sodas every day, you may find that just by decreasing all of that liquid to 1, whether, let's say you normally do a venti Starbucks drink, if you just change that to a tall, I don't even mean make it sugar free, I'm just saying change the size, and you can have 1, you might find that you're removing 400 to 500 calories from your diet just by making that one change. So make the change with your liquid calories. Just start off doing that, and then we can come back to part 2 to how can we bump it up. But it's going to be consistency. It's going to be realizing that these changes are not going to happen overnight. It's going to be adding in a little physical movement, a minimum of 10 minutes. And I get a lot of patients that will tell me, oh, I walk a whole lot, in my job every day. I'm like, well, that's good, but you're also still coming to me with a BMI over 40. So whatever exercise that you're getting on your job, clearly that is not enough to allow you to lose weight, so that you have to do more. So when I'm talking about exercise, I'm talking about dedicated time for yourself to increase your heart rate, okay? I'm not talking about the time that you're walking across the warehouse to go do the things that you need to do, which is important. Keep on doing that, because that is at least helping you to maintain your weight where you are right now. But we want you to lose weight, so you're gonna have to go over and above what you're doing right now in terms of physical activity. So adding in at least 10 minutes a day of some physical activity to get your heart rate up, and then adding in water and watching out for your liquid calories. So if you can do those things just to start, just making those small changes, you're going to start to see some changes in your body. You may not initially see big changes in the scale, but I will tell you, you absolutely will start seeing changes in your clothes. That happens to a lot of my patients. They're like, I'm not seeing a lot of movement on the scale, but they're like, but my clothes are looser. They're looking better. And in the end, who cares what's on the scale? Don't we all just want to look good in our clothes? So let's try that for now. You got to get started somewhere, and that will really help.